Equality does not exist, I discovered last night, or realised. It's a word that gets into grammar. It's an adverb. An adverb is a noun, a word which describes or adds to the meaning of a verb, adjective, or another adverb. Equality. Can't quite understand the dictionary, the word chamber entry. It says equality noun, and it says equality adverb. Though it's not necessarily relevant to the realisation that equality as such doesn't exist. What does exist is inequality. And if inequality is removed, you don't get equality, you just have what's left. All things might be said to be equal, which is an adjective, a noun and a verb. Though equality itself does not exist, inequality exists, and without inequality there is no need for equality. Interesting. I learned that at a meeting they have on Thursdays with the Occupy movement, they call themselves. A group of people. I have difficulties there. I reach contention with them easily. I've tried everything they're trying, found it to create that which they are opposing, and find myself in disagreement immediately with them, and not actually able to actually expound a solution to them. They feel justified. I understand the position they're in. I'm in the position myself, though I do realise the nature of that which we are faced with and the solutions to that myself, though I cannot actually share them as such, being that whilst the solutions to the situation are quite simple, expounding them are quite complicated, complex even. The pit is deep, and they don't want to know because they want to kick back. Not kicking back against a thing that kicks harder than you can ever kick, and by kicking it you justify its existence further. They wanted me to join, well, they wanted everybody to join the social networking site, and I went and looked, and within 2 clicks I was in contention with a group there who was saying a thing that's non-existent, and anyone that didn't follow this non-existent reality that they said existed would be asked to leave the site. I actually said that. So what's the point in joining something where as soon as I get there I'm going to be in contention with them, and then where does it lead? Well, I know ultimately they have no choice but to join. It's like I can't join them because they ultimately will be joining me in understanding what I understand. I'm not sort of taking a position because it is a better position to take. It's because I understand consequential to considering the situation that we're in now over the last, well, seriously considering it over the last 10 years. Though I only reached those considerations because of the position I'd taken over the previous 20 years, getting closer and closer to the final understanding of, oh, I'd call it living with dignity now. I didn't know the word at the time. Though I did realise that kicking back and threatening and wanting to be vengeful and punish are all what you do to another you do to yourself. Sort of actually might not actually make sense to someone who doesn't know. I can't tell anyone anything. I won't tell anyone anything because I'm not being responsible for them when things get to wherever they take them, because there's only them can take it there, and then they find themselves in a place they don't like, and it's my fault because they listen to me. Well, I don't want them to listen to me as such, though that's not to say I don't want to be heard. So equality doesn't exist. Some good people in the Occupy movement, no two ways about it. Some genuine, considerate, understanding humans that do want to make the world what it needs to be. I suppose that's not actually specifically speaking, is it make the world what it needs to be? The world is already what it needs to be. What do you mean by the world, Anthony? And many of them are prepared to go as far as it takes, though one thing that is an issue is they need to step outside of the reality that's here. The satanic Christian work ethic, for instance, and the financial systems, and understand it all needs deconstruction. You just need deconstructing completely. So that's what I'm about, me deconstructing the satanic Christian work ethic, as I'm calling it currently. First of all, a man in an office today, I go in, I ask the receptionist, where do I go to make this inquiry? She says, to the phone's down there. I'm stood waiting for the phone, and a man comes and says, can I help you? I said, do you have a mobile phone on you? No, but what do you want to phone up about? I need a telephone. What's it about? The receptionist directed me down here to the telephones. I only asked you if I could help, and I only answered if you've got a telephone, you could help me. It's only a simple question. I said it's only a simple answer. I need to make a telephone call on your telephones, and I'm waiting to make a telephone call on your telephones. You come along to ask me, can you help? And now you want to know why I'm making the call. Why do you want to know what I'm making the call for? To see if I can help. You can only help me if you've got a telephone. And then he starts pretending that I'm being stroppy with him, which I wasn't. And then he thinks he's only doing his job, but what is his job actually? He's got a job there that's unnecessary. Asking people who are waiting for phones if they need any help when what they need is a telephone. And if he could help them, he would have a telephone to hand them. If he can't hand them a telephone, he can't help them. because he can't do anything anyway without a telephone, because all the business is done down a telephone. So he's got a job that's unnecessary. He's being employed, creating work so there's work to do, so they can earn money to pay taxes, to pay back the debt that doesn't exist because they've imagined it. Although they've imagined the money and they've imagined there's not enough of it. And then apparently last night they imagined another 50 billion to boost the economy. So they've imagined 50 billion into existence. And they're going to pass it around amongst themselves and pay bonuses to each other because they've had 50 billion to pass amongst themselves, and it looks like they've had some money around, so they've passed some money around and they'll bonus themselves on this money they've passed around. Meanwhile, I'm making a phone call because some money's been taken out of my income without notification because of some debt several years ago, which I did borrow off them, though at the same time over the following years, when they didn't pay me what I was entitled to, I didn't ask them for that because the mind, and it was the mind, told me that they were doing a deal with me that if I didn't ask for the money that I was entitled to, then it would be knocked off the money that I borrowed when they denied me the money I was entitled to in the first place. That after waiting for a few months without any money, and getting a solicitor on the job, they didn't have the paperwork that they said they had, that was the reason why they wouldn't give me what I was entitled to anyway. See, it's not the system, it's the people who operate the system who are being pissy, I used to call it. I'll probably get more dignified in my ways with that in future. And they have calmed down a lot. Normally, I nearly said, why did I nearly say normally? I don't know. Anyway, equality doesn't exist. Inequality does. And we need to remove inequality. What's inequality? It's another question, isn't it? I've already said more than I wanted to. But it's said, isn't it? And I have to live with it. We all have to live with each other. We have to live with all life on this planet. There is no choice in that. We're all here. And the sooner we realise that, the better for all it will be.